Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us again for another episode of the Church Communications Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Daryl Girardier, and with me, as always, is the one, the always, Katie Allred. Now,
Hi.
this week, we don't have a sponsor, but we do want to tell you about somebody that we really do love, and it's one way that you can help support that podcast, and that is the wonderful people over at PushPay. PushPay is an innovative giving solution for churches. You can, with them, they have over 7,000 churches, including the top 54 of the 100 churches in America that use their e-church platform. The e-church platform for them does mobile giving, church app. It's got a whole bunch of tools for you to use to help your people give and people interact online. In fact, we actually are building out our own church app for our church using their e-church platform as well. So they're definitely worth checking out. I got to spend some time with them a few weeks ago. Great people. You can check them out at churchcommunications.com/pushpay. That's churchcommunications.com/pushpay. Again, they're not sponsoring this episode, but this is one way you can support us by visiting them and checking them out. So they are wonderful people. So go ahead and do that. Katie, how are you doing?
I am doing so well. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life. So it's so funny. We bought these cameras, and you're using yours right now, and mine would not. And it's so funny because I set mine up early, like a smart, young child. I did this this weekend, and it was working great. And all of a sudden now it just won't work at all. I'm just sitting here staring at it, being like, why? So I'm about this close to buying a Black Magic web presenter.
I am, and for me, I'm single parenting this week, so I waited until the last minute, literally till 10 minutes before the podcast opened. They opened up the box and said, "Let's put this camera together." How hard can it be? A little harder than I thought, but there we go, and we are now officially up and running. So there we go. So there we go. So we got some stories this week. We got some stuff to talk about, Katie.
Yeah. Let's see. So let's start with Twitter. And they're going to start doing more live events into every area of their app, including the Explore live feed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting. So I wonder, okay, so I'm assuming they designate a live event being something that, because the hashtag is trending, or I guess they are doing it based off of maybe some cross-pollination with Periscope, is how they would determine that.
Maybe. These are all great questions. I'm not sure.
And I'm also assuming that I would hope that it would have some sort of location-based information based off of your location, like starting live events that would be close to you, because I think that would be the feature that would entice churches to use this. Is that what we would be gathering?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking so far.
Yeah, it seems to me that for them, they've kind of realized their bread and butter is really in that whole Moments live event venue. That's really what they are, the breaking news, if you will, of social media apps. And so, I mean, when you think of it that way, Katie, how do you think churches can take advantage of that?
Well, there's a couple different ways. Obviously, you could use Periscope at your church, and there's boxes that can do Periscope, like Sling, like the Sling Studio box can do Periscope. And I know only of one church that uses Sling Studio and also Periscope extensively, and that is Mount Zion. They're one of the fastest growing churches in America, according to Outreach. And they use Periscope like nobody's business. And so I always want to be like, write off Periscope and write off Twitter as useful social media platforms for the church. However, I think that Bishop Joseph Walker and Mount Zion would totally disagree and say that Twitter's been huge for them. So
yes. No, and I think, and by the way, if you're ever thinking, well, how could I use Periscope? Just follow Bishop Walker on Periscope, and he will give you in 1 week, he'll give you a tutorial on how to use it. Because, I mean, he does a lot on it. Plus, if I remember correctly, Katie, I think he's got a team of volunteers dedicated to running Periscope for them, like, and kind of handling that. So, I mean, they made a concerted effort to do that.
Yeah.
So, so definitely, that is definitely worth checking out. Story number 2. And this is a story that's close and near and dear to Katie and I's heart, because if you don't know this by now, which I don't know why you wouldn't, we're both Southern Baptist. And this week we have
a convention.
We have a convention going on. which is always a fun time. And it got really fun this week, Katie, didn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of fun controversy and great stuff just all around. Yeah, the SBC we elected JD Greer. I wanted to say finally. No, we elected JD Greer and Rob Lauder, who's in our group. His name also looks like Rob Laughter, but it's Lauder. He works at the Summit Church, which is JD's church, and he's such a big crucial part of our group and very helpful. And so the Summit Church, I think, is doing a lot of really great things, and so I'm excited to see where JD is going to lead the SBC in the next year.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's for those of you who don't know, for Southern Baptist World to elect someone like JD, that's a good thing, and I think it's definitely a big change, but a good change. That
he's the youngest Southern Baptist president ever elected.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's if you click on, or it says elected in decades, I guess. If you click on the link to the Christianity Today article, it just talks about that he is becoming the denomination's youngest president in 37 years.
Well, there you go.
So
there you go. So we also had the vice president of the United States speak there this morning, but no big deal.
That was a little controversial as well. I don't think it was a big hoopla, but anyways, we got through it, and I think that's the important part. Mike Glenn, our pastor, spoke on stewardship with Dave Ramsey. So that's fun.
Yeah, I'm sure Mike will not let us forget that he's done that now.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot about that all this week and next week.
Oh, he's the coolest.
Yes, he is. All right, moving on. Story. Oh, you know what, Katie? Do you want to tell us about one more of our friends other than Pushpay?
Yeah, let's talk about Outreach. So Outreach is a great company. They do print. They also do magazine. Obviously, the fastest growing churches list comes out of Outreach magazine. But they have a print company, and I think that's something I didn't know about until I actually went and visited them. But they have a print company, and everything's in-house. So super American. But I just saw today, actually, Jamie called me and we were just chatting back and forth, and he was saying, we're doing like sales now every week, and they're like really good sales. And I was like, no, I had no idea. So I shared it with the group earlier, but right now they're doing banners and the stand for $99, which I think is a really, really good deal. And if you want to get in on that, you can go to churchcommunications.com/outreach and see what's on sale now. So next week will be a different sale. Obviously banners are on sale today or this week, but next week maybe something different. Of course, we should mention that if you go to churchcommunications.com/outreach or /pushpay, we do get a commission, but it is small and is at no cost to you. So just support our podcast by buying these fantastic products through our friends.
Yes, you can. All right, on to story number 3, and that is our friends over at Facebook are now requiring for you to confirm that you actually have permission to upload people's email addresses if you're doing targeted ads.
Yeah, it says starting July 2nd, so it's not immediate. Yes. But you're going to have to declare whether or not the contact info that you've uploaded was collected with proper user consent by them.
Huh. Which, I guess we're just talking about a pop-up or a box, right? You just got to check when you're doing this.
Right, you just have to hit I accept. So I don't know how really secure that is,
Yeah,
obviously you can just be like, oh, I lied. It's just like in MailChimp, you can upload a list, right? And say that you own the list. But you could have just bought it from like a big cold email thing. I don't really recommend that, but you could.
Yeah, I think it's interesting is that I wonder, and this would I think would defeat their business model, but you and I were talking earlier, I think it would have been great if they had done the inverse, in which I get to enter in my email address as a user and say, I don't ever want to be marketed to.
Yeah.
And say put me on the banned list of don't market to me via my email address. You can market to me via.
Oh, see, I'm like, please market to me. I want to figure out what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Oh, that's true. That's right.
I'm like, I like want to know, like, why are you targeting me? I love clicking the why am I seeing this ad thing? Because I see the oddest ads, and I'm always like, how and why? Like, how?
That's because you go onto Chinese shopping sites and you shop for
AliExpress,
Alibaba. Yes, AliExpress. That's why.
AliExpress is amazing. You should definitely use it. I don't know if anybody. We should make a affiliate link for that. Excuse me. AliExpress is. You can buy like really cheap stuff, like stuff for like $1 that you would buy for $10 on Amazon. So don't be hating just because you're jealous because I got all this cool stuff from AliExpress and you're not doing that.
I'm not jealous. I just go for your Facebook newsfeed, which is probably filled with like iPhone cases for $1. And then like just all whatever else you buy off of that website.
Whatever else I buy. Let's see what. Hold on. Let's do an experiment. Let's see what the first ad I see right now.
Yes, I love.
Okay. My first ad is for Revio, which is ignite your social feed with animated posts. Oh, it's like to make animated posts for your social media.
Okay.
See, they know me. They know better.
True. That's true. See, mine doesn't work. Why? Because I have a blocker. So my newsfeed's blocked when you open up Facebook. So because that sort of reminds me to get back to work. On the right hand side, mine is full-time jobs in tech and where you can go get an MBA. So mine is MBA and then Code Fights, which is apparently codefights.com. Take real world challenges from major tech companies and get fast tracked for a new. So you take a challenge to compete, and then if they like what you did, then they turn around and hire you. Well, that's interesting. Check that out. So that's what I'm getting. Yeah. So again, I think that's gonna be interesting. I think again, if you're a church and you're using targeted ads and you've got these email addresses, you're obviously in the clear as long as you got the right consent. But I do think we're gonna see. I'm curious, Katie, if we're gonna see if this is just the beginning of the next steps of even MailChimp clamping down more. Are they going to find more ways for people to be able to quote unquote advertise or not advertise, but report what they consider abuse to be? I wonder if like that's going to be one of the elements as well. Like I just wonder, we talked about this before.
Sure.
Or you and I both know that like if you're not careful, your church can get blacklisted by IP, for too much spam. Yeah. Yes. I wonder if this is one of those things that could eventually weigh into that factor. Is all of a sudden you
can't do any Facebook ads.
You can't do Facebook ads.
Yeah, it's totally possible and could easily happen. So I think obviously just tread lightly, do things with caution, and do things correctly. Try your best to get the correct consent.
That is true.
For all things in life.
And last thing, you actually had to fill me on the story because I didn't believe you when you first told me today. Was IHOP had a name change, or at least they act like they had a name change. And
right.
So explain the story here because you said they changed the name to IHOP.
Right. Like a week ago, they said that they declared that they changed their name to IHOP for International House of Burgers. And that they were just going to do burgers from now on. And then literally the internet blew up. Like Wendy's was like, I don't want to have a burger from a place that can't even do pancakes. Like, and then like they were like, who thought pancakes was too hard or something like that. And so it was just hilarious because literally all these major brands were tweeting about and just talking about how terrible it was. Like Pizza Hut changed to Pancake Hut. Burger King changed to Pancake King. Like everybody started changing all their stuff over to pancakes and just talking about it. And it was hilarious because it was the cheapest marketing scheme of all time for them, right? Like all they did was change maybe their website and then said, hey, we're IHOP now. And they generated all of this interest in IHOP, which had closed, I guess, a whole lot of stores recently. So it was a really cheap marketing scheme for them. And I don't know if it worked. I would love to know if a lot of people suddenly went to IHOP in the last week. But yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued. But anyways, it all came out that it was totally just a scheme. It wasn't real. Their name's not changing. They're still IHOP, but they're also selling burgers. It was really just a promotion that they sell burgers and they wanted you to know they don't just do pancakes.
Interesting.
It's like Waffle House, right? Like Waffle House does more than waffles, but I guess they just wanted everyone to know that, so they did that.
Interesting. Yeah. So like I think, yeah. So what is the lesson here on this? You would say, I mean, well, I mean, obviously a couple things is one is that when it comes to your brand, there are moments when you can. I think that totally worked on it. I guess I'm thinking out loud here. That would have worked great on April Fools, but not exactly something you want to do when it's not April Fools. You know,
right? But then if it had been April Fools, nobody would have tweeted about it. That you know, like it wouldn't have been such a funny, like I don't know, or such a like talked about. Anyways, they totally just like what in the Washington Post article that we're gonna link to. Says IHOP's name change is what happens when brands exploit the internet outrage cycle. Oh, so like people just got angry about it for absolutely no reason, you know, because they were like, IHOP, blah 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 blah. You know, people tweeted International House of Betrayal, and then millennials were about to kill us, so we finished the job ourselves. Right. So people were just angry about it, and they were making all these funny memes and stuff about IHOP. And it would have never happened if it had been an April Fool's joke. People would have just been like, oh, haha, but tomorrow you're still IHOP. Yeah. This was just a big hoopla. And because it was so dumb. And anyways, it said, so congrats, you know, IHOP or whatever you decide to be. Let's get this one out of our system, move on to the next thing. But essentially, like, they exploited the fact that people get angry for irrationally no good reason on the internet.
Yeah, and I think, you know, certain churches have actually done this for years without the internet. They've always, you know, it's like the church that either gets a billboard down the street with a controversial saying on it, or the pastor who decides to do a sermon series that's controversial, and then
like the Alabama guy who has the go to church or the devil will get you sign,
or the pastor who wanted to do a series on sex, so he put a bed on top of the roof of his church.
Okay, then.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, like, I think we've always done that. I think the question though is that you and I are having this discussion today, but the reality is that in other words, I wonder if the outrage machine is getting shorter and shorter because of social media. It doesn't. In other words, it doesn't last nearly as long, but the benefit that you would get from it doesn't really do what you think it's going to do.
Yeah. It lasted a full week, so there's that. Okay. So I don't know, because they didn't really fess up to it just being like a pretend thing.
Okay.
So we'll see. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, there we go. Those are our 4 stories. Katie, is there anything you want to lift up?
Yeah, I'm reading "Start with Why" by Simon Sinek right now.
Ah.
And it's been really great. Have you read it yet?
I think I have the Audible version of it, maybe, and I have not gotten it through yet.
I feel like that's what everybody's like. I have the audio version of it. I do too. That's what I'm listening. I'm listening to it.
My Audible library is a little like open to the other day. I'm like, technically, I have like 200 hours worth of books to listen to right now, so I'm a little behind.
Yeah. That's how I am on Scribd. I have like 4, 5, or 6 different books downloaded, and I'm like, I need to really listen to these, but that requires me to like have a long trip to drive on. So
yes,
yeah. But so far so good. Really enjoying it. Just talking about how different inspirational leaders, why people remember them is because they started with why, not exactly how. But so anyway, that's
his TED Talk. If you want to get a taste of the book, go Google his TED Talk. Because his TED Talk is kind of like, if you will, like a 20-minute, it's not 20 minutes, like 15-minute primer on the book. Yeah. And it's about Apple. And it's a fantastic, like, really, really well done. So if you're kind of going, I'm not sure about the book, watch it. You'll be hooked on it. And you'll want to get the book. So it's definitely time to go check it out. It's on the TED Talk's on YouTube. So just look for Simon Sinek TED Talk. And
it's great.
Yeah, it's good. Well, cool. All right, folks, thanks for joining us again for another episode. If you like this episode, we would love it if you hit the like button on Facebook or the share button as well. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on iTunes, subscribe or give us a rating. A big, 5 stars or whatever they're doing now in their rating system. 5 apples. I don't know what Apple does right now on their podcast stuff. I haven't looked at it lately. Whatever that is, we would love it. We greatly appreciate it. We hope you all are having a great weekend, a good summer. I know for a lot of y'all, you're in the middle of VBS. We're in the middle of VBS right now. Katie, by the way, have you played the role in the VBS play? I forgot to ask you that.
Yeah, I was a mourner of Lazarus on Tuesday, and it was fantastic. I've been in it every year for the last like 3 or 4 years. You should do it, Daryl. What are you doing?
I let my kid do it. My kids usually play Baby Jesus at certain points in their life. So I think at least one of the boys has knocked that out. So that's my contribution to VBS.
Oh, come on. It's so much fun to dress like you're,
no.
in the biblical times.
Creeps me out. For some reason, it creeps me out. I don't know why. There we go.
Fun.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys, and we will talk to you later.
Yep.